Hey everybody, I'm Allison with FlickDirect, and we are here at Popcorn Frights Film Festival in South Florida, and we are talking about Take Back the Night. Hello, how are you?
Hi, thank you for speaking with me.
Absolutely. Okay, so Take Back the Night
Yes.
is really more than just a horror film or a thriller or anything like that. So, what was the idea behind it? Why did you want to make this movie, per se?
So I was in law school in New York City, and I was sitting with a judge on the bench, and I was watching her proceedings, and I saw a couple of sexual violence cases, and I was really floored by how firmly the way the laws are written put the onus of proving the crime very squarely and firmly on the survivor. And it doesn't account for behavioral changes or ways that they might be manifesting trauma in the wake of this event. And when I had learned that Emma Fitzpatrick was very keen on some similar studying, we had sort of teamed up to just explore the issue in film. And when we had set out to sort of say something about it, you know, Emma comes from a very strong horror background. She's kind of a scream queen, and I really didn't want to make a documentary or a homeworky movie because I felt like it was a wide-reaching topic that anybody could have a discussion about if only they felt empowered enough to enter the conversation. So we really wanted to make something that was fun and accessible, and so we really just leaned into the idea of making it a pure allegory, and we made a monster movie.
The two of you co-wrote it together.
Yes.
So tell me what that process was like for both of you. Did you work together? How did it evolve over time?
Yeah, so we actually started a book club at first because we were so interested in studying the topic and studying, you know, different things written about it. And it just became an evolved conversation where, you know, every night we were talking, every weekend we were talking, and then suddenly next thing we knew we were writing a movie together. And, you know, because I filmed the film as the DP. I had a camera. I didn't know how to use it. I taught myself how to use it. I was like, Emma is a stunning actress. If I just pointed at her, how wrong could it go? So we would just go out into the streets of LA at night, kind of organically exploring ways that we could translate the story into film. And eventually we sort of settled on a storyline, but we really naturally found it by like the process of filmmaking first, and then sort of drawing story out of that, and then we wrote a script from there. And the script we co-wrote, like sitting next to each other, like investigating every word, making sure that we were, you know, threading the eye of the needle that we were trying to thread.
That's really interesting because that's not normally how the process kind of starts out, but very interesting to say the least. Tell me, because this is an all-female cast, and there's like one or two men in there, but you don't actually see them. So why was that done on purpose?
Well, you're a keen viewer, I must say.
Thank you.
You know, usually when you see topics like this explored in film, it's such a bummer. It's like somebody gets assaulted and then the man sets out on a hero's journey because he shouldn't have let that happen, and we follow him. And I'm so tired of that. I could go the whole rest of my life and never see a rape scene depicted in film, and it would still be too soon. And I just felt exhausted by that. And we're like, what would it look like if this was a story told by the people it's about, and we empower them and we put them squarely at the center? And so, you know, femme bodies, female identifying people, just like a lack of that male figure that we've seen to death. I thought it would just be a nice way to, like, I don't know, relax into it and have a little fun.
It was interesting because I didn't realize it at first, but when she's at the party at the beginning and she's in the bathroom, we won't really talk about that. You don't see the person she's with, and then obviously we don't see the perpetrator. We see a monster. And so I just thought it was so unusual, and I had to go back and think about it. And I love that idea. I thought it was great. When she goes into the hospital and they're doing like a rape kit on
a PACE
her.
kit, yeah.
Yeah. So was it intentional for them to act that way, or is that what you've seen in the past at all?
Who act which way? The people
Yeah,
administering
sorry,
it?
the administrators.
Yeah, so
yeah.
in real life, it takes minimum 6 hours.
Ooh.
So within 48 hours of an assault, you have the option to report, and if you do, you'll have a PACE kit performed on you. It's about 6 hours if they go kind of quickly. Some hospitals provide rape advocates and some do not. And they will get you completely naked. They'll take photos of your body. They'll take a tongue depressor and they'll scrape every inch of your skin to try to get any DNA. You get swabbed. You get poked and prodded. So if you weren't already feeling quite frazzled from the event, you have a whole new level of something that's equally as traumatic that's just happened to you and is very invasive. And so, you know, in film, you have to move quickly to keep your audience. I would love to do a real-time scene of this thing, but we tried to really cram as much of it as we could into the scene.
Yeah, it was extremely effective. So what do you want people to take away from this? How long do you think we are from actually changing the victim blaming culture in this country?
Yeah, there's some really easy things that can be done in terms of legislation, changing how they're written, getting rid of the word forcible or with force in the laws, putting the burden of consent on the perpetrator instead of the victim. And I don't know how far away we are from that. I think it's a baby step forward for an eternity until it looks something more like fair.
Yeah.
But what I hope people really take away from this film is I hope that they take it as an invitation to the conversation. I hope that people who felt a little leery of entering or discussing these topics might feel a little more comfortable maybe talking about a monster attack and warming up to the idea that they're allowed to think about it and they're allowed to investigate it and they're also allowed to feel passionate about the issue at the end of the day. It's not just for women.
Yes, it is not. So everybody go and see Take Back the Night. It's an interesting look on rape culture, unfortunately, in this country right now, and how a monster signifies the perpetrator. So it's kind of thriller, but it's got a purpose. So thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you.
with
Thank
us
you for
today.
talking to me.
No problem.